Comedy, romance, drama and suspense. Co-starring with Norman Wisdom is Norman Wisdom as Giulio Napolitani, the fabulous Mayfair hairstylist.
You had ruined it. How dare you?
Wisdom as his suffragette mother.
We demand sex equality.
Fighting for her sex, but nobody wants it. Get cracking for this one. What a couple of nuts. Wisdom brings the house down. And no wonder. Norman Wisdom is the little man who's always trying. Very, very trying.
Norman Wisdom is seen here receiving the British Comedy Award for a lifetime's achievement in the theatre. Wisdom was born in 1915 amongst the poverty of London's Paddington district. He rose from a deprived childhood to become the most glittering star of variety theatre. Norman was the only Englishman to top the bill regularly at the London Palladium, and he appeared for our gracious Queen at no fewer than 6 royal variety shows. The little comedian was a huge attraction in musicals too, such as Where's Charlie in the West End and Walking Happy over on New York's famous Broadway. Norman took his skills to the moving pictures, and at home his cabinets are full of awards, such as a British Academy Award and the Argentine Golden Flame as the most popular artist of all nations. This family appeal has meant the little fellow's antics are loved by millions throughout the world. One American reviewer summed it all up when he said, "Let's just be grateful for him."
Because I'm a fool. I know it's true, yes, I'm a fool.
Today, Norman Wisdom lives on the Isle of Man in a house called Ballalaf. Curiously, he takes no advantage of the island's tax haven status and insists on paying his tax in England. He says the island reminds him of England 20 or 30 years ago.
Sit down, will you, please? Now, Mr. Trask. Obviously, we've got a right one here. Have you ever been hypnotized?
No.
Now, I want you to concentrate on my eyes. Look at my eyes. Your eyelids are getting heavier.
Yeah, they are.
And heavier. You are in a hypnotic trance. Mr. Truscott, I want to take you back to your childhood, as far back as you can remember.
Number 91 Fernhead Road. That's where I used to live when I was a kid. It has very sad memories, but on the other hand, happy memories also. See, my parents split up when I was 9. I lived here until I was 9 and a half, nearly 10, I suppose. And my mother had left home. So, with my dear brother, we used to go to school to St. Luke's, just up the road there. My father used to be away with a chauffeur for sometimes months at a time. We didn't have anybody to look after us. No, we had no food, so I became quite expert, together with my brother, nicking food from the stalls, you see. He used to drink a lot, no doubt about that. He used to drink a lot, and I don't know whether he was upset. Well, he must have been upset about the divorce as well, and maybe he missed my mother, I don't know, but he used to be unkind. I mean, oh, well, I'll be truthful, boof like that. And I remember on one occasion he picked me up and threw me in this very house, threw me across the room, and I remember I hit the ceiling. It didn't hurt me. Maybe it did me the world of good. I learned how to fall. I suppose, you know, the childhood and what happened in those days created what later was called the Gump.
I'm having that job.
Who said so?
I did.
Particularly from a point of view of the pathos, sadness, the cheerful, and the characterization. So I'm very grateful, 91.
When he was 9, Norman and his brother were put in the care of a succession of guardians in Hertfordshire and Kent. He left school at 14 for various delivery and pageboy jobs. Then he and a friend decided to walk to Wales to find work. 12 days and nearly 200 miles later, the friend deserted him in Cardiff. So, homeless and jobless, Norman decided to try his luck in Cardiff docks.
And as I walked in, a fellow from a hut just on the left I heard shouted, "Oi! Oi!" So I turned around and he said, what do you want? And so I just said, I'm looking for a job. And he said, "Oh, where are you from?" I said, "London." He said, "Well, how do you get here?" I said, "I walked." He said, "Don't be silly." He said, "Show me the bottom of your shoes." So I did, and there was holes. Holes in the bottom of my shoes, really. And he went aboard this ship that was there, came back about 20 minutes later, and he said, "I've got you a job then, a cabin boy." And 2 days later, I was off on my way to the Argentine.
Michael!
Having the time of my life. And they taught me how to box, which I found very interesting, and they didn't hurt me. And I knew why they taught me, because when we got to Buenos Aires, they took me to a boxing booth. You know, that's illegal these days. But they took me to the boxing booth where you take on, well, professional fighters take on all comers, and they fixed me up, and I had to get in the ring with a bloke who was about, well, a stone and a half at least more than me, although he was a flyweight. And after, sort of, if you're standing up after one round, you get about £1, you know, in the Argentinian money. Anyway, and or if you're standing up for 2 rounds, equivalent to £2, but 3 rounds was the whole lot. After 3 rounds, you get £5 if you're still standing up then. And I'd been knocked down many times. I was smothered with blood. But at the end of the 3rd round, I was still on my feet. And then I went to collect the money, but the crew had collected the money before me and shoved off. I wasn't worried, because I felt I'd become a man somehow. And I remember the following morning, you know, the crew, they were ruffling my hair and saying, "Well done." And I felt sort of, oh. So got back to Barry. A bit unlucky again, because I went to the juvenile welfare just about 2 days.